abahire ojja kuba notunga ebuhereza obulungi muno Nyeka Hotel nojja kutembera akatale Mpanga ojja kutunga akabodo rabano muyivuga motoka yawe ojja kugenda hand hake muno wakaruga kizano cha Boma then you'll see the most tall building over there that will be Nyeka Hotel where they tell you always to stay with them ebimu hamilime barukora they have conference facilities oyine obugenyi oyine entekaniza nkezi mwine political debates mwine organization talk shows mwine a number of things Echukuru you can have more than 100 people plus Nyeka Hotel is there for you to provide you with conference facilities you can as well always reach out to them basobole kubana bakwichaho so they don't only do that but in a wedding reception they have good gardens whether on the pool view whether you have on other bigger gardens Echukuru kastono itaga kukora obugenyi bwawe parties birthday parties wedding functions whatever byona baba kwichao they have that wonderful wedding reception or functional receptions and every Saturday they tell you they have a live band together with Baba Chiu every Saturday hanhonka Nyeka kurugarwe bajyo saha nizeza robajyo aim up late in the night you can cover and enjoy yourself with the live band together with Baba Chiu. Also they have a standard accommodation together with the presidential accommodation no sobora kuija no be yuna no be geitaho no bakoraza kurunge muno kutandikira muntu wa hansi mpaka muntu wa haiguru that is the presidential suites presidential accommodation nibaraza na presidenti ba mahanga hanhonga Nyeka Hotel. Then maybe also they have a lot but you cannot forget the Isazi restaurant na mbere osora kugendo katunga your local foods zone zebuka byone bya Toro bya Buganda so long as what is your tribe your country your culture they are able to serve you in the Isazi restaurant ebuka byone byo kulya babine kandi bakugambira. There is also that other option nambere wakweki huro hamitwaro musanji yonka okalia nebindi pakulema okwicho bwarata right na parking it's up to you you can park them and go with them back to your home with your loved one so that is part of Nyeka no tulikiro cha hati no suwele kubantu kora etekaniza enwe nungi ya free talk hamuna nyowe daktari Gonza Simon ya kika kwa abana ya katugenda maito. I'm not alone today. I'm with one of my good friends, a brother, a pastor, a businessman, a farmer. He's a cocktail of everything on this earth. So he's going to say hello to you. Then we can keep on discussing our topic of the day. So my brother, my pastor, my friend, could you kindly say hello to the viewers? Then we see you going and as well as welcome to 4TV.
Hello viewers. You've heard my names and I'm delighted to be here. And thank you for hosting me, Simon.
You're most welcome. So kindly, could you tell the viewers who you are, maybe your name once again, let them know who you are, what you do, are you single? You know, we have so many friends of us who are single and they may think maybe,
well, sichanyonya, narabada.
Yes.
Ndi myaka ja retirement.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Amanya Tumwesije Robert, a married man, a missionary, pastor, businessman. I am a man who has started out a few things in this world. I pay some taxes to this government. I employ a good number of people.
So you are an asset to this government?
Yes.
Of NRM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is Pastor Robert Tumwesije, and he has told you briefly about himself. He's married, he's not searching, he's here to retire and leave the thing into us. But me as well, I'm also not searching. I'm a man who is married, who has a family, you know, so we are there and we are always together to have you here on 4TV. So welcome back, and it is Free Talk edition every Tuesdays to Bantu Wazaho and Songa Zamaka. So this week and hopefully last week, I think part of our children have managed to conclude, to come to an end of their first term holidays, the education of the first term. Kanitekereza abam habana abakusomera haihi basubira kwanda bagaruka maka abanda bachali boarding hostels na bachaliyo. But we want to talk about parenting in general as of today. Kwa abana bali maka bagarukira abana bacha basoma holidays n'ensonga ezinike. So as a family talk every Tuesday twenda nyo hamna Pastor Robert tubazeeho ensonga how to nurture well, how to do that role of parenting so that we can raise a better generation of tomorrow. So Pastor Robert, I know you as a parent, and more so you are so good at loving children so very much. And one thing in about is omuntu kukwatara mwana wawe no sano you can do anything nabakwasire muliso. So in that regard, do your children go to school?
Yeah,
they do.
Yes.
And have they retired like bahumwile so far kuruga masomero gabo ndiki they are still there?
Yeah, my children go to school. We used to run a home in a setting of a school, what we call homeschool.
Okay.
For so many years, and we've successfully registered and graduated too. Even the last batch graduated last week.
Okay.
On Friday. And so they are at school, and I love children, like you said. And most of my investment goes to my children because there's no way I would want to be successful outside and I'd be a failure at home.
Wow.
So my best, like as the Bible says that a good man is the man who leaves inheritance for his children.
Sure.
And so I labor so much to make sure that my children have the best. There's a trend that is happening all over, because we live in a global village today. And so many parents are into of taking their children to private schools and good government schools, pay heavy prices, but they forget to have time with them.
Sure.
Like having this show in this particular time, it is really, really important.
Wow.
Why? Because most schools have closed for the first term. And you're going to see many kids loitering around town, moving from one house to another, and they will be home just for sleep. Their parents will be home just to sleep. And what amazes is that some parents have actually have offices, free spaces where they can employ their children or stay with their children. They have shops, businesses, they have farms, but they are not directly involving their children in their business. So basically, me and my wife, what we do is our children must be involved in whatever we are doing, so that we are not just there to put money into them, and then when they come back home, they're just puppets. I don't know whether you get my point.
I get your point.
So I move with my kids. I travel with my kids. I dig with my kids. When I'm going to church, I go with them.
Wow.
When I'm working with them. So it's very difficult for me to find me somewhere for the whole day and
without your children.
Yes.
Wow. That's so inspiring and as well as educating. So thank you so very much. Now, before we go far away from your children and other children and the children of the community at large, someone may wish to know who is a parent in particular, because now as we are talking about parenting, someone may need to know who is a parent. Does that end from someone just pregnating a sister or a girl or a woman and then giving birth, it ends there, or there is another element that one must comprise of to qualify to be a parent? That's parenting.
That's a very good question, Simon. I was a parent for 12 years without having a biological child. I was a father through what we call foster program. I fostered some children who are actually teenagers for some time. And then there's also a parent who is a parent by adopting. Adoption. So you adopt children and you have them.
Okay.
And you can also become a parent by having a biological children. So the word parenting comes from the word co-creating. So what you do, get the word P and A, pa, then get the word rent. So when you get those two words and you join them, it gives you a word parenting, which simply means you are being rented the responsibilities of seeing a man, let's say you're a kid, those who parented you, after giving birth to you, you were a toddler, you were an infant. To one level, you started growing, a teenager, to an adult, and now you are a man. So those responsibilities are God-given responsibilities. But we're in a very funny generation where people are after producing.
Now, let's go slow. There is something I wanted to, I had opened up my ear to hear. The word pa and renting. That whoever, that those of us who have children, they are not ours forever. They are being rented to us by God. Such that because at some point there is a case in point, there is a home I know. These people, these two parents, mother and father, they gave birth to their children, 2 or 3 of them. But today, as we talk, the children are not in that home. They are elsewhere, hustling for their own life. So meaning the word pa and renting, it takes me to my understanding that these children were rented, these parents, because like whenever one is renting a house,
specific time.
Correct. Like whenever one is renting a house for a specific time, then afterwards he or she goes and builds his or hers.
Definitely.
So must that mean that parents, much as we are parenting, these children are not for ours forever?
In other words, they are not our belongings. In the things we own, we don't own children.
I beg your pardon?
In the things we own, we don't own children.
Whose are they?
They are, because the Bible says that children are rewards
of marriage.
Of marriage or a womb. You get it? So since they are rewards, you can be given a reward basing on your performance. So on the things man or woman should put emphasis. The emphasis is not on children. This is my son, this is my girl, my daughter. Yes, you could have been given that responsibilities to raise them, but at a certain age you would let a principle of letting them go
at some point.
At some point. The biblical word of that, you must let them live so that they cleave with a new responsibilities, probably of becoming a married man or a married woman.
Now, but before they go to cling onto any other thing or getting their own family, starting up anything of their own, let's get back to the pa.
Yes, parenting.
The parenting role. Because once they leave you and go to cling onto any other thing outside of home, what kind of citizens, what kind of people, what kind of children are they going to be outside?
That's where the Bible comes in. It says, parents, train your children in the ways of the Lord, so that when they grow, they cannot depart from it. Now, that word train simply means you give them the opportunity to become
what they wish to be.
Yes.
When the parent is not with them.
You see, Simon, children don't become who they are from school. They become who they are from the home.
Sure.
The school only helps them to become more effective of who they are supposed to be. The role of a home in a society is to be begotten. Your dad had you, and perhaps he saw you were going to be a media personality. Do you know what they did? They started encouraging you. Like for myself, my firstborn, I have always been wanting her to be a pilot. But do you know what we've started now? I take her for an aviation camps. At MAF in Kajansi for specific training and what we call brainstorming. So that when she grows and she wants to make that decision, she knows what to do. And my work is to make sure I am grooming her into becoming a pilot.
That's parenting.
That's parenting. So the parenting, let's start from the word pa, the P-A. Pa, you identify. After identify, you love that identity. After loving it, you now set apart some some specific duties towards that power. And then you are rented. You can be rented of wisdom, you can be rented of resources. Now that's when the school comes in, until that person is a genius or an expert in that.
That's a big revelation.
Yeah.
You can be rented of resources.
Exactly.
And if you are not a good payer, you are not Tolimsasuzimurungi, you may not be rented.
Do you know why some parents have successful children and yet parents who are not successful?
Come again? Come again?
Do you know that some parents have successful children and yet the parents themselves were failures? Do you know why?
No, please.
The reason that happens is because that specific parent discovered that they were being rented responsibilities. So once you know I am being rented out or hired out to run out this responsibility, you become a good manager. Parenting, you see, you cannot if you are not a good manager, then you cannot expect results.
Of course you cannot.
You get it? So parents are managers, managing the lives that God has given us. So the moment you become a good manager, a good steward, and for the eyes of the world, you look like a failure. Because at a certain point, you want your son to be a doctor. I want my daughter to be a pilot. In my family, no one has ever been that kind of a person. No one has ever seen a plane, to be specific. I was the first person to enter the plane, and I'm still the first and the last, even up today. So my children are going to be successful only by entering, flying the plane, knowing what the plane is, and they will be more successful than I am. Why? I have discovered that I've been rented out to these responsibilities. You get it? So let's scope it from tenants and landlords. You know, when you take care of the house of your landlord, he will come and appreciate you, but we give you a mandate of building yours with a better one, with a better concept. So that's what comes down here to parenting. God gives us children, we parent them, we sharpen them to become more better people in the society.
Now, let's talk about poor parents raising children, managing children who turn up to become successful. But there are these parents who are poor, they also manage their children in a poor manner, then at the end of the day the children also bear other children who are also poor, like the 3th, 4th generation, they are all poor. What brings about such
decisions?
By who?
By that parent, the first one.
Does the first parent determine the future of the next 2 generations ahead of him or her?
Yes. A dog will produce a dog, Simon. A dog will always produce a dog.
Likewise, a poor man will also always produce a poor man.
Not in that sense, in the sense of decisions. Because you are a reflection of what you think. As a man thinketh,
that's what he is.
So he is. So if your mindset says, we are who we are and will always be, what do you expect the change to come from?
The same growth.
Exactly. So may I tell parents, if you want to see something different, first participate in that difference. Be a catalyst of change, and let your children change for better. Let them change better than you.
But you see, there is this...
Just hold on. If you want your children to fight against the spirit of drunkards, why do you bring the beers from the bar to home? Why do you allow your children to go with you at the drinking point?
Yes, they are underage.
Yes. So parents need to understand that the issues that affects us are not just gotten from schools. They are gotten from home. Our homes contributed 80% of who we are in our society.
There is this scenario whereby you ask a person or a colleague, he or she will tell you, but why are you poor? Why is your home not progressing? Then one will tell you, now we progress as who? Because our father, our mother, our uncles, so you want us to do things like who?
I am that best example. Born from the poor background. I've never seen an uncle. Mind you, no one has ever been in Kampala in my entire lineage. Just Kampala. So I was the first one to be in Kampala.
From where?
From Rimi, down in Rimi. Okay. The first one to be in Kampala. You know, they must, in a family, in each family, God gives an opportunity for one individual to break the chain.
For sure.
But what happens is, how have you perceived that opportunity? How have you utilized that opportunity? For instance, you may find that you've been one of the smartest kid in that family, and God gives you an opportunity to be educated by government. So what happens when you go to Makerere or Chambogo or wherever?
You expose
mountains
you
here.
Get exposure.
You get exposed, you get the exposure, you get good friends, and then in the background there is a screaming. It says, wait a minute, Simon is trying to be above our
break
standards. So this is where God gets in. And this is what scriptures say. First seek ye the kingdom of God.
And then the rest.
And then the rest will be added unto you. So I emphasize to families, I emphasize to people who come from such a background, not to forget God. Not to forget where they are coming from. And then be determined to cause a change. Either from the spiritual view or from the financial view. Because this is where it gets really serious. If you want to create a new family, a new history, then you must get tired of the old one, the existence one. Get rid of it. Destroy it completely. Not going to kill your dad or your mom, but look at how they have been doing things. If they were not educated and they have wrestled so much to educate you, then
Fort TV ikara osemerirwe.
Okay, thank you so very much. Twaba tugenzero kaka mano mukamashe break, but tujuka cyabagambira turahanyika hotel. Stay with us no turi babagambira bayinohereza buona bakwana mwetaga bayine band restaurant bayine saz restaurant bayine accommodation bayine presidential shoot see bayine bintu bingi muno ibyosa kuba noikaho no yegondeza hamnabi bayine swimming pools zone za abato hamna abakuru bayine there is a number of things, conference facilities, conference halls, the wedding reception, functional reception na everything kebyona no bisanga hanhonga hanyeka. Remember tyakumzamu I'm still with the pastor Tumwesigye Robert Ntiyabaza Ensonga as a maka, especially on the role of parenting. Who is a parent? No hasemeri kuba na abamuzaire na asemera kwa na koraki na ebintu ebindi nke. But remember ko kwabana bahumwire, we are now in the package of the children who are back home, even though they are still at school with Arabnya Kumwire, but they are also maybe going back for coaching here and there, but they are home in general. They are not at school, they are not now in the hand of the school. So no to abachari aho katwatuwaza ensonga ezimu nambera tuwagambire ngo with parenting these children are not ours forever. They are always given to us as a mandate for us to nurture them into something better so that they can also go and start their own life at the end of the day. But they must be having that one figure called a parent. That's where our discussion has been now. Pastor Tumwesigye, before we went for our break, you were still narrating about something that there are people who always say, what will I be? What can I be? Because if I'm poor, can I be rich? Like who or who? And that's where you were driving us to still. I want us to continue with that discussion. When your child wishes, dreams of being maybe like a pilot or maybe an engineer, or maybe he or she has a passion into something, you as a parent, you must tune this child into that direction. Could you now expound more on that as the discussion continues.
Okay. Simon, thank you so much. Going back to the word pa and renting. Pa, I've told you, simply means you've been given. Then rented, you are temporary in that position. So that simply means God has given you that child, and He wants you to push that child into their permanency. That's what it means. But when children have dreams, our work is to identify, build that dream with them, not making decisions for them, but supporting their strong will, because children have strong will, just like parents. So once a child senses, I'm going to be like this, after you failing, because some parents fail.
Yes, they do.
All they know is omwana nanka kabaroya niwe imekubaroya.
Full stop. But what it takes behind there.
Yes. Takubaya nti na subjects zilinga oba subjects zia za kusoma kuhinduka royi. Usanga uli akozele science ni bamwenda aberoyi. Uli akozele science ni bamwenda abepolisi. Abuko mwana nanka is a policeman or a police lady. So we must identify these IDs, we call them IDs. If your child have a passion of being a pilot or a doctor, and they are doing bad in certain subjects that are required as an entry point, muyambire kimu omwana agende asome ebintu ebi. On the other note, Mr. Simon, there is what I call communicating the vision. You know, some families, like in India, in some parts of Asia, in some parts of Europe, the family empire, because some families carry what we call the gene. You might find a family, they are cattle keepers, they are scientists, and it is hard for you, Simon, to be a media practitioner. So when that family has that kind of lineage, you have to put a lot of emphasis from day one. That kid goes to school, that you're going to be this, so that they put a lot of energy to become what a family has already, family vision. So this calls us to communicate and research. It's not a must that we all must be farmers. You get it? Like for instance, we're in Fort Portal, Western Uganda, and many people know us as farmers. But is it a must?
No.
So if it is not a must, we must research and research as parents where our children energy can be. So once we get that, then we communicate the visions right from the day one. We should communicate our visions even before we marry each other.
Okay.
You get it?
Okay.
Because if you're going to marry a son of a military man and you're a farmer, how are you going to be compatible? So when we talk of communication and when we talk about parenting, communication has to be there. Right away when children are still in the womb, because they can listen.
In the womb?
In the womb.
Okay.
They can know my dad is this, my mom is this. And they come to this world full aware of the professionals that is in their home. Full aware. So this is a point where we shouldn't miss. As your woman is pregnant, be there, talk to that womb, talk to that child. You know you are going to be this. I am this. I am a doctor.
You prophesy.
You prophesy. You are going to be a doctor.
Upon the unborn.
Yes. And mind you, this child will not depart from this. Why? Because words create. Words create. So if you're a farmer and you're busy with a hoe or a tractor or a pump on your head, on your back, not on the head, you are talking to these unborn. So communicating the vision. If this business, communicate it. Haven't you seen the Indians? Most of the Indians, for them, they believe entrepreneur leads the world.
Now, there is this other feeling, or where we've grown hearing, it's a common saying, though some people they just sit differently.
Yeah.
Which says, if all wishes were horses, everyone would raise his.
Yes.
Now, my wish of my unborn or the born child yet today is him to become a good engineer at the end of the day. That's my wish. But like the saying goes, if wishes were horses,
Yes, everyone would
wish. But when this child goes to kindergarten, this child goes to P1, this child goes maybe finishes P7 and joins a secondary institution, wishes begin diverting. What brings about that? Yet you, the parent, your wish was my child would be this. But eventually, the child who has wished to become an engineer, a doctor, nurse, whatever, she's already pregnant before age. And is out of school, you are biased about her or him, and then you give up on him. Where is the future of that person if you, the parent, have given up on such a child? On such a child's wish that you had in the beginning?
Like I told you from the beginning, I am the best example of the less fortunate kids in the world. Born of an illiterate family, born of a family in the village, of the family that is not exposed to anything. But I wakes up in the morning, I say to myself, I am a different species. I'm a different person. I must create a different family from the one I know. Do you get that? So I am determined, after reaching in Kampala, seeing how some other families are, I made a decision right from that moment, and I start building, I start focusing on becoming something else that is not in our family.
You as one?
Yes. Now, this is why I want to quote you something. It is believed that if you are not from a rich family, then create one. If you cannot create one, then let at least one person come out of your lineage. In other words, start practicing what rich people do. If you are not from one, create one by force.
But there is a course it takes for me to practice being rich, yet we are not.
This is where I'm coming from. Now, if you are not that family, you've not had a breakthrough in anything, this is where we come in. We must train. You must look for people. You as a child, if you're at school and you've been given an opportunity to go at school, look for people. I believe there is someone who can approach a school and try to motivate those kids. The head teacher, the visitors, because today it's very difficult to find a school that has no visitors. You get it? So among the visitors, there will be one who will come and answer your need.
Who will inspire you?
Who will inspire you to be motivated and run after your dream.
Much as
for me, it was a movie that inspired me. I watched a Nigerian movie and my life changed. And I vowed never to go back to my home when I'm poor. I made a decision that I will go back driving. And from that time, I don't know, I've been in over like 20 cars and I'm still going up. I'm not stopping. So we must make decisions.
You were inspired by the movie?
A movie.
Not any other person?
Not any other person.
Meaning with our inspirations are within our areas of heritage, or where we stay.
Exactly. You see, God will always make an opportunity come on your way, whether you're in the village, whether you're in the city, whether you're at school or you're in the market, whether anywhere. You see, when God blesses you with a life and you're still breathing, you are a candidate of an opportunity to change your life.
Do you believe in a statement or a belief of that a blessing knocks once?
Definitely.
Because when you are saying that God will put all possible ways, whether in the village, whether in the center, whether you're dumped somewhere, there will always be a possible out for you to excel.
Yeah.
But then there is that particular timing or when a blessing knocks and you've not been able to see it. Now, this is the kind of a person who is from a poor family, and here comes the chance that is knocking, but nobody is nearby this person to open up or touch on this person to say, hello, that is your timing now. Go for it.
Can I give you a quick testimony? One day I was in Kampala. I finished to study, and I'm looking for the job. I am a minister at church, and I hear the voice that says, go to Iraq. We're talking about 2007. I go to Iraq. While I'm in Iraq, I get a vision of keeping cows.
How do you go to Iraq?
That's another big story.
Of another day.
Yeah, another day, yes. But for now, let me give you this. While I'm in Iraq, in a town called Baghdad, I hear another vision, another sound within my ears, that as soon as you go back to Uganda, pack your bags and go to Jinja. In Jinja, you are going to be a cattle keeper. A cattle keeper. In Kampala, you're a graduate. You're looking for better jobs. You are living in a double-roomed house. You are in ties. And then you hear another voice that tells you you are going to pack your bags and go to Jinja and start keeping someone's cows.
From Baghdad to Kampala, Kampala, Jinja, from here to the farm.
Yes. And you know the reason? In Jinja, that's where I get my turning point. That's where I get a breakthrough.
Not in Baghdad.
Not in Baghdad.
Not in Kampala.
Not in...
But in someone's farm.
Exactly. And I'd really started traveling the world. So I reached in Jinja. A certain gentleman who had my details 10 years ago came looking for me. I was in the farm, in rain, looking after someone's cows. He comes for me.
All away from where?
All the way from Australia. All the way from Australia. And that was my turning point.
Where and how did he come to know of your testimonies?
That's a long story. Okay. But I've just given you a hint. So
you're trying to refer to us that any poor person, when a chance happens to knock,
utilize
there will be a possibility of God guiding you and alert you that now is the time.
You see, even you walking in the road and you stumble on the bag of money, it is God. It is God.
How about the one who threw it?
I'm telling you, it is God. Because his ways are not like our ways.
So you mean God God can make someone to lose his or her money along the way, but targeting Simon to come and pick that money to transform his life?
Can I shock you more? I know of a family in Kenya where a satellite moved all the way from Russia, hit someone's house in Kenya, and he was paid millions of dollars. Today is one of those billionaires.
And which nature of the house was that?
A ramshackled house.
But the fact that
by law, when satellite lands on your house, on your property, you are paid.
You have to be compensated fully.
Yes. So God will always line up an opportunity that changes life, whether you like it or not, whether it is in a sense of positivity or negativity.
Now, back to our topic.
Yes.
If in all that examples and stories you are trying to share with us from a poor background, then God brings a satellite, or God causes someone to throw his bag of money, where does the element of parenting come in now?
Now, parenting does not work like syndicate. Parenting does not work like gambling. Parenting is real work.
Hands-on.
Hands-on. Talk to your children. Talk to the teenagers. For instance, right now, the school had a lot of pressure on our children. They have come back home. They do not want to have another pressure from parents. That's why I've told you, communicating a vision, communicating a system,
to the children.
Communication at home must be a priority, and it must be emphasized at point A to point B. If a child is going to see so and so, what time, where? Can you drop your daughter? Can you drop your son? Can you pick them? Can you assign someone to say, okay, my daughter is going to point A. Please go and pick her after this time. So communication must be a priority at home. And then, because when a family communicates well, I'm telling you, yes, issues will come, challenges will come, but they are manageable. But
There
where
will always be a way.
yes, they are manageable. But where there is no communication, anything can happen. Then secondly, that I want to bring to our viewers right now, there must be goals.
That are set already.
Yes, children must be understood. They must understand the goals of our family.
Now, before you tackle that point of setting up goals, do you think poor families have goals that they can set for their children?
Do you know the poor family and the rich family, what they have in common?
No.
It's time.
Same God.
It's time.
I thought same God.
No, it's time.
They all have time.
They all have time.
24 hours?
In 7 days.
12 hours in a day.
Yes. They all have one thing in common. It is time. But how they use it. How they use it is what
You mean the rich and the poor share the same time?
Definitely. They all have 12 hours. They all have 24 hours. They all have 7 days. They all have 12 months in a year.
So who makes the rich and the poor at the end of the day? Because who makes the rich and the poor at the end of the day? If I told they have the same hours, the same time, the time zones as well are the same.
Simon,
How?
that's a big topic. But for the interest of our viewers, let's not leave them hanging.
Yes.
Who makes the rich and poor? It is not God, it is you. You who are watching us right now. Yes. I make my children to be rich or poor. Ask me how.
How?
The decisions I make, the choices I make at home. If I make good choices, good decisions, they will make their lives better. And anything that makes your life better, it has to bring food on your table. It makes your life better. You like it or not.
Wow. The discussion is kind of good and so interesting, but because of interest of time.
Yes.
One thing I'm learning, that the one common thing between the rich and the poor will all share the same time.
Definitely.
And both the rich and poor are made or manufactured and created by God. But who gives wisdom at the end of the day? There is a scripture that I came across some time back that if you lack wisdom,
Ask.
so why don't you always go and encourage these poor fellows to ask for wisdom from God so they can become rich? Because those poor people, how they admire to be rich, they're in the skies. But how to apply the rich aspects is zero.
The consequences of the decisions
Consequence of the decisions.
we make. Because we are what we are because of our decisions. But in a nutshell, let me talk about self-care in parenting.
Self-care.
In parenting.
Let's conclude with that.
Yes. Dear viewers, please work on what we call self-care. There is a cankerworm that is eating our people, health-wise.
Self-care as an individual or self-care of parents to their children?
It all starts with an individual, as a man, as a woman, and children in the family.
What is in details of self-care of an individual?
Because before I give you the definition, I want to give you this. You cannot give what you don't have. Do you know that? What does that really mean in this context? It simply means if you want to read your children or your family to be a better one, you must work on yourself. If it is reading, read. If it is exploring something, explore.
Wait a moment.
Yes, sir.
You can't give what you don't have.
Definitely.
This is my poor dad. What will you give to me?
Poverty.
Exactly. So how will I come out of that lineage of poverty? Because it's what my dad passed across over to me. So I should also carry it over and pass it over to my children.
But you can break that. You can break that. That's why we are coming up with self-care. Self-care, what does that mean or what does it do? Number one, identify why you have not succeeded. As a parent, if your child, for instance, I've told you, my daughter wants to be a pilot. Nobody has ever been thinking or dreaming to be a pilot at home. Even if you go to the grave and you ask my grandfather and the grand, nobody had that. So how do I come to that level? I kind of changed my life. I started self-care. I want to be a different Robert in the whole community. So I must do things in a different manner. Self-care through here. You must have a sober mind here. Then you start caring for your thoughts, your mind, your goals, and these other things. So self-care at home, it is an important thing to think of. I will give you another example. Right now, my wife is pursuing masters, her masters. She's about to go to school. Every holiday, she goes to school. I must stay at home with my kids. You get it? So if I don't do what we call self-care, I first care for myself so that I give out love, I give out dreams, I give out goals, then I will not make it.
You know, that element of self-care in your submission, it's kind of lacking. Because when you talk of self-care, I'm looking at taking time to shower, taking time to eat a good diet, taking time to keep my hygiene, taking time to do physicals to keep myself fit. Isn't that a self-care?
That's part of what some of the things we need to.
So how does self-care at the end of the day result into me bearing a good family
and parenting? Like I told you, you cannot give what you don't have. If you're not sober and all you have to give is calling your children your dogs, you are an animal, you are this, you will never be this, you say I failed, you also failed, they send you for something, they send you for money maybe to go in a field, they say and
they are there, of course.
They will say we have a party and you're like and you begin giving a negative vibe to your children, you are not taking care of yourself.
Yeah, that's the care.
Yes.
Wow. So we may not expound beyond this because for the interest of time, maybe Pastor Robert, we will invite you once again and we can talk about other family affairs and other motivation and inspirational discussions as well. But as of today, I want to thank you for coming through and always honoring our invitations whenever we invite you. And I think the viewers as well, they are happy to have you because what you are speaking, you are sharing, we've been giving out wisdom and knowledge at the same time revelation. So maybe in your conclusive words, based on what we've been talking about, could you summarize everything within 1 minute and we call it a day?
Our dear parents, the only thing I can say, be there for your children in good times and bad times. Support their decisions and their choices. If they are good, encourage them to pursue them and run after them. If they are bad, challenge them. Let them make decisions. If they fail, it is okay to fail today, but come up with a very systematic approach, because usually we come with a wrong approach of blaming, shouting at them. Why did you do this? Oh, I think this is why you failed, like the way I failed. No, come up with a good approach. And once you do that, your child will come into her senses and bend down again and do good decisions. And by the end of it all, we will all glorify God. So be there. Children are back home. Be there. Talk to them. Look into their work, how they have been doing at school and how they are going to do. Then give them goals while they're at home. Don't just let your children sit, watch TV, or be on TikTok. Technology is good, but it can be one way of destroying our children. We love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Simon, for hosting me.
Please.
And I believe such shows are very important to our community.
Very good. Thank you so much, Brother Pastor Robert, the missionary. And it's been the Free Talk edition every Monday to Friday. Every Tuesdays we talk about different family affairs, education in families, divorce in families, marriage in families, business, a number of things here every Tuesday. In the Free Talk program, we talk about different things in family affairs segment. Tomorrow being a Wednesday, we shall come through with the health affairs, and we always always talk about lives, how you are living, your eating styles, your physique, your here and there, to see that you have a healthy life at the end of the day. So for today, we want to appreciate you for being there, viewing through on Facebook, on YouTube, on our TikTok accounts, on all our social handles. We are always there. Just go search for Fort TV and you'll be able to see us. I want to appreciate our hosts of today. The reception we've been at Nyaika Hotel, where we say that stay with us, always come through to Nyaika. A lot is happening there. Come and reach out to them for extra services of your choice. Until further notice, I want to say good morning and wish you the best of the day.